Hey people, it is Saturday, June the 13th, currently 10:10 p.m., around 24 degrees Celsius. I'm here at the corner of Dundas Street West and Ossington Avenue. It's a busy Saturday in the city. The World Cup is underway. And this is one of the most popular nightlife areas in the city, extending both along Dundas West and south here down Ossington Avenue towards Queen. If you go that way, it's more of a hipster vibe. And if you go this way, what once was a hipster vibe has evolved into more of a bougie sort of Yorkville light sort of vibe. Sort of like a Yorkville for a slightly younger demographic, some would say. Maybe in another 10 years, a lot of these people will be hanging out in Yorkville instead of here in Ossington. Or maybe this will just evolve into a full-on rival to Yorkville in the coming years. In any case, the vibe is a lot different now than it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, even 5 years ago. But it's still busy, very, very popular. And tonight we're going to see a lot of different sorts of people, I think, because of the World Cup taking place. I think there are a lot of tourists in town, maybe getting a taste of some Toronto nightlife. There's a jam-packed Ossington bus. And I thought after walking the Ossington Strip, I'd continue on along Queen for a while, through West Queen West, which has a totally different vibe than Ossington here.
All right. Yeah, let's go. I feel like I'm outvoted. Yeah, let's get it. What the fuck? All right, let's go. This is WTF. Your little birthday hat.
I just did a video walking through Taste of Little Italy before this.
Like Hawaii is different. Like Hawaii is.
And it was human gridlock. So even though it's busy here, it feels a lot more wide open and spacious to me after putting up with that nonsense. Alright, let's get past the wall of old dudes. This is actually my second attempt walking down Ossington. I already did this and was already on West Queen West heading east when the video I was recording was accidentally deleted. So I had to hoof it back up to Ossington and Dundas again and start all over. A curse word or two might have been uttered.
I know where she is.
And Ossington here does have its own street festival called Ozfest, which takes place later in the summer. That festival has more of a hipster vibe that still persists, even though the street now doesn't really have that vibe anymore. I think Ossington is a good contender for another street to be pedestrianized all year round, or at least for the summer, such as Church Street, which will be pedestrianized this summer.
Close to the clubs.
There are spots on the other side of the street as well. It does seem to be a bit more concentrated here on the west side of the street though, in terms of patios and busier bars and restaurants.
Okay, so how do we do that?
And in terms of nightlife scenes, this isn't really my cup of tea. I'm more of a Queen West or Dundas West type guy, I think. A little more oriented towards live music and a more of a grungy sort of atmosphere.
Yeah, on the right home.
Not really a bougie type, I guess you could say. Even if I had lots of money to throw around, I think I'd still prefer to hang out in the grungy live music venues. Watch some bands, even some crappy bands. I just like finding a table to sit at and just plunk myself down and watch the bands play. Chit chat a bit, and that's about it. That's a full night out for me. This is total deja vu since I just did this about 15 minutes ago. I like this little stretch of shops here. Nothing going on at night here though. There are some spots across the street as I mentioned. The street has really changed since the days before the hipsters moved in, when it was kind of a street full of old Portuguese sports bars and this is cool. Old Portuguese sports bars and self-storage businesses. There's still a few self-storage businesses left here, but all the old Portuguese sports bars have been pushed out. You'll find some of those still in Little Portugal along Dundas. Some remnants of the old Ossington here. And we're just about at Queen, so as I was saying, we'll hang a left here and we'll walk east through West Queen West. Hopefully my video doesn't decide to destroy itself again as it did last time. I was tempted just to give it up and just start heading home, but I was like, I'm here, I'm in the area. It doesn't take that long to go back up to where I started, so that's what I did. All in all, it'll add about an extra 30 minutes to my night out recording, so no biggie, I guess. All right, so that was the Ossington Strip. Now into West Queen West, heading east. There's not a lot of nightlife to be found along this stretch. Further east, though, you see a number of those live music venues I mentioned. A lot of them have been around for decades and they're still hanging on.
Someone broke that. Is that a digicam?
Yeah. close enough. Some of the bars are the Bovine, the Cameron House, the Horseshoe, the Rivoli, the Rex. The Velvet is gone, unfortunately. That one closed down not too long ago. Now a nightclub has sort of replaced it, or what seems to be a nightclub. Good job. Couldn't just stop at the proper place. Right, now this is where the video last time crashed and deleted itself, so so far so good. The King West nightlife area is south of here, and that's something completely different. It's also quite bougie, but in a different way than Ossington, a younger demographic than on Ossington. And a lot of people will also label it as a douchey sort of vibe, much more so. More likely to see fights and that sort of thing on King West. Even much worse than that, sometimes shootings. A rather unsavory element sometimes frequents the nightclubs on King West. I don't think I've heard of a shooting taking place on Ossington. But on King West there's been quite a few. Yeah, there's a nice breeze tonight though. It's not overly humid. All in all, a good night to be out recording videos. I was tempted to just stay home and put my feet up all night, but tomorrow's going to be a rainy day. So I thought maybe I should head out and get some videos under my belt here. And then tomorrow I'll put my feet up. French diner. So mostly retail shops along here. Obviously they're closed now. With a smattering of restaurants, as you can see. Walking past Trinity Bellwoods Park. The park is dark. See anybody in the park. I'm sure there are some people in there. I see someone sitting on a bench. I think right now a lot of people are at Taste of Little Italy. It was jam-packed when I walked through there earlier. It runs until 1 a.m. And that's on College Street, north of here.
Oh, you were yeah, Mexico. How was that? They were playing Taylor Swift at one point. Yeah, they were. Wait, what? Yeah, it wasn't all big.
So I think that's drawing some of the crowds off of Queen Street tonight. Normally Queen Street on a Saturday night would be much busier than College Street on a Saturday night. But obviously a street festival will change that. It seems like bliss walking along a sidewalk that's not wall-to-wall people, most of whom are drunk and obnoxious. Maybe you've already seen that in my Taste of Little Italy video. I wonder how the King Street scene is tonight. Maybe I'll take a walk through there after. It kind of does its own thing, I find. People who like King Street tend not to cross over to the other scenes too often. King Street people tend to stay on King Street. She's wearing a Twin Peaks t-shirt. That's a blast from the past. Here's where Niagara Street begins. That's an interesting street in its own right. It's just a residential street, but it sort of winds through the West End. Doesn't conform to the street grid. There's an interesting mix of buildings. Best seen in the daytime, not so much at night. The 501. There's the Foxy Box across the street. Best name for a laser wax bar, I think. Cosmic Charlie's. Got an ice cream spot with a whole crowd of people out in front. Doc's Leather. This place has been around for a while. It's almost like a museum up on the second floor with all kinds of strange items. Might be worthy of a video one day. Seeing more restaurants mix in with the stores now. It's a World Cup fan. Place to get boots. It's been a while since I've done a Queen Street West nighttime walk for a pre-recorded video. I might do some live streams in the evenings along here, but rarely do I do a pre-recorded video. The World of Posters. This is a good shop. If you're a fan of bands, rock music, or just popular music in general, I guess. Right, crossing Palmerston.
Oh, I want popcorn.
A 24/7 cannabis store. I noticed these a while ago. There's quite a few of them actually. I'm not sure if that's technically legal to have a 24/7 cannabis store.
The really severe ones are usually.
Space for rent. You can open your dream business there. Looks like we have another space up for grabs here. I'd say Queen Street is relatively healthy. I mean, there are vacancies, obviously. Maybe a bit more than I'd like to see, but I think the street is generally doing okay. It seems to be a lot more stores that are open and seem to be doing well than vacant stores. And lots of new places are opening on the regular. Seems though if a new place opens, maybe another older place will close. Here's a huge space up for grabs here. Look at that. What was here before? Might have to look back in time. I think this was an old movie theater once upon a time. The mushroom store, those are not legal, but they still tend to operate. They get raided every once in a while. They get firebombed by some shady forces every once in a while. There's definitely some underhanded, sketchy stuff going on in some of those stores. So, looking down Bathurst. Bathurst streetcar. So now we move into Queen West as opposed to West Queen West. This is where you start to see more of the live music venues I was talking about. The nightlife aspect sort of kicks it up a notch once you go east of Bathurst.
I will for sure.
Throwback vault. And here's the Bovine. Full name, the Bovine Sex Club. This is where you'll find some live music, and it's also a venue for North by Northeast. That's also taking place right now in the city. All kinds of things going on. North by Northeast is a music festival. Well, you can see some live acts in dozens of different venues around the city. Bands that come from all over North America and the world. Doing little showcases. What this guy's trying to do. Some clueless driver, apparently. And here's where the Velvet used to be. Now it's called Hive, as I mentioned. It seems to be a nightclub now. Some World Cup action in there. What goes on at Hive, I'm not too sure. Is even anything going on tonight? Doesn't seem like it. Seems odd if there's nothing happening on a Saturday night. Doesn't bode well for their new venue there. But this is Portland Street, which will head down towards King to the King Street nightlife area. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up this video here at the Hive, and maybe I'll start another video heading down the King Street. We're already seeing some sort of signs of what to expect at King Street. Sometimes the King Street scene sort of blends in right here at Portland Street with Queen Street. Maybe Hive is trying to draw in that crowd up this way. In any case, I hope you enjoyed the walk. We took a walk down Ossington Avenue on Saturday night here, checking out the scene, and then continuing along at West Queen West and into Queen West. Just seeing a bit of something different here. So leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Also be sure to hit that notification bell. That way you won't miss any of my videos. If you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as via my merch store. Or you can also support the channel by becoming a channel member or by sending a super thanks if you prefer. And you can find me on Instagram also under K Continuum. So thanks for watching, and thanks to all the channel members. And be sure to keep checking back because, as always, I will continue